Good evening, everyone. Welcome. This is my channel, Jeremiah Dreams. My name is Teresa, and I live in Huntsville, Alabama. It's been a busy work day, a busy grandchildren day, so I'm kind of more cashed out in a t-shirt and very little makeup today. But I hope that you'll come on in here and let's take a few minutes this evening to do something creative. And we've started a project. Today's Wednesday. I began this Monday night right here on YouTube, and we're going to continue that. And I think we probably will be able to finish it today too. It's not a super difficult project, but I'll kind of walk you through kind of how we started the project, and we'll just pick up from there. Okay, let me get my surface here, and we're going to flip this a little bit so that you guys can see the project and very little of me. And we'll just put myself up in the corner, hopefully, but it may not allow me to. I was hoping it would. I'm still learning some of the platform, but we'll get there. There's Vicky. How are you, my sweet friend? So good to see you. Thank you for being here. I'm going to raise this up a little bit so that y'all can see a little better and hopefully get a very good view. There's my friend Sherry. How are you, sweet friend? Okay, so I hope everyone can see well. Just let me know if you need anything adjusted and we'll take care of it. Let me get my paints out. One of the things that I do, if I know I'm going to be using paints again really soon, I'll just pop them in a gallon-sized Ziploc bag, hoping that it will keep them. And they usually do keep for a couple of days. And that's about all we needed because I knew we were going to be getting together tonight and continuing this project. So we've got this beautiful flower, and I'll show you kind of the inspiration. I found this image of this gorgeous, I guess it's a moonflower or a hibiscus or something like that. I'm not quite sure, but it was just pretty. And I thought I would really like to paint that sometime. So that's what we're working on, and I'm just using that as a reference, and then we're kind of doing our own thing from there. Some of the things that I want to add into this are some stamens, and I'm going to use a size 2 detail brush. And we're just going to pull in, and I have here this color. It's Pearlized Vermilion by Master's Touch. I love and adore this color. It just gives a really nice shine. It's just gorgeous. We're going to use this. I'm actually going to pull together. See, our paint kept. It didn't dry up. We're going to pull together a little bit of this vermilion just to get a softer paint going. Now, something thin like where I had kind of mixed some color there, that didn't last. I'm just going to add a little water to this just to thin it down a little bit. We're going to use this shade of pink to begin our stamens. I hope you guys are all having some pretty weather where you are. It has been off and on rain today. Sun shining, then it would come a cloud, and it's just been kind of interesting. I'm just going to pull in a little stamen, just a straight line in this pink. That's how it's kind of in our reference sheet. And just kind of tapped that bottom just to widen it a little bit. And then we're going to pull in a really soft yellow for some of these little, I don't even know what they're called, but these little nodules, for lack of a better word, that are along the top of the stamen. And one of my favorite colors, y'all, it's not because it's a chalk paint, but I love the shade. And it is a chalk paint by Folk Art, but it's Summer Porch. And it's just a really pretty soft yellow. And we're just going to add some of this color in. Get a little bit. This bottle is almost empty. I love it so much, but I've got a new one ready to go in the wings when this one does run out. The next thing I'm going to use is a stylus. We're just going to add some dots right along this stamen, just like so. Okay, let me get that wiped off. And then we're going to pull in some vermilion, and we're going to make some larger circular colored in the vermilion, circular shaped nodules right at the end of this stamen. Now, again, I'm just using my stylus just to kind of dot that in. Okay, we're going to let that dry. So let's do a little bit of vine and leaf work. Maybe not so much vine, but stems. So we're going to use, let me see here. I want to think about this given my flower colors. I think we're going to use this real pretty green. This is light green. We're going to start with this. We may mix a little bit of white with it just to give it some highlight, maybe a little black with it to give it some shadow. But this is going to be our primary color to start with. All right, so let's see what we can do about some pretty leaves. And to make these, we're just going to kind of start and really press our brush down and let those bristles spread out and kind of get a nice outline. I'm going to reload. And we're just going to kind of lift as we get near the end. If we feel like we need a little more width on our leaf, we're just going to add a little more width. So I hope you guys are all doing well. I like to have two leaves together at once. So I'm going to kind of tuck another one in behind, and it's going to be shaped just a little different. But I love the look of two leaves together. And we're just going to bring that point out a little bit. This is just the way I like to do it. You may find your own method. I'm just going to follow along. The shape of my petals. I'm just going to kind of fill in. And then on this one, for the second leaf, I'm going to pull it on the other side. Okay. Let's think about our little, well, y'all, the words left me, our buds. And we're going to pull in a little of this green just to kind of nestle in our little buds. We're going to give that tip on the end just to give that simulation of that leaf wanting to unfold. So we kind of got it resting in that cradle. And let's go ahead and add a little more right here. Allow it to come to a point. And just kind of shape it. Kind of like that. Can everybody see okay? Let me know if you can see all right. Let's add a little stem, and we're going to go a little wide at the base of the bud, and then we're going to go a little narrow as we move toward the flower. Just like that. Well, let's kind of do the same here. We're just going to cradle in our bud. And then let's bring another little leaf section right through here. And then let's kind of connect it to our primary flower, just like so. Just keeping it kind of simple and working that stem toward that flower. We're going to let that kind of dry. I do think we need some more leaf work down here, so I'm just going to turn this around. And let's put some more leaves right through here. I'm going to follow the shape of my petal. There we go. Just filling in. Okay. So here's what we have so far. I think it's looking pretty good. We're going to let this rest for a little bit. We're going to think about what we're doing over here in this corner, just for balance. I kind of thought about maybe doing some script work, but I really don't want to take away from the hem. So I may do something a little different. Let's just try. I really think a butterfly would be amazing. And I did not bring a reference sheet. I'm looking through my stash here. Clean that brush. Trying to see if I have some things like a butterfly that we could add as an embellishment that would serve that purpose, give it sort of a mixed media feel. And I think I've got something that'll work pretty well. So I have a friend, my friend Miss Katie, has a new product called Mold-A-Wood. I'm looking through here to see what I have. And we can, it's a wood-based product, and you mold it. It's very flexible. It bends, it cuts. I accidentally set that corner in some paint, so I'm just going to trim it. And this is an amazing product to work with. You can easily cut it with scissors. You don't have to heat it up for it to work. It's really very impressive. If you're interested in learning more about this product, please message me or leave a comment here, and I'll be glad to get you some information. Let me kind of show you real quick. I think I've still got some. Where did I put it? It comes in a tub, and it's very, very like, it's not like clay. It's different than clay. But here's kind of some things where I was doing a project that I've made with this, and you just put it in a mold, a silicone mold, and it does have to dry overnight, but then it just comes right out. And the impressions that it provides from your molds is amazing. Look at this. I don't know if y'all can see, but look at the detail for that. Isn't it incredible? And it just easily pops right out. I can't find my tub. I wanted to show you, and I've hidden it from myself. Y'all, if you follow me for any length of time, you know that I'm bad about that. I'll have it, and then it's like hiding from me. I did try to come in here a little bit today and straighten up, and that was the problem. So, having said that, we're going to take this little butterfly. Let's just kind of paint him kind of with the colors that we've used in our project. And then what I'm thinking, once we get it painted, we can add our little butterfly over here to this corner. And that gives it a mixed media feel. All right. So to paint our sweet little butterfly, and because this is a wood-based product, you're working with something that looks very earth tone. I'm looking for my small flat brush, Here it is. And I'm thinking about the colors that I want to use. I really want to play into the blue and pinks that we've got going on in our piece. Let's just make him a really pretty blue color. And whenever you start painting these guys, these molded woods, the detail really begins to pop out. Let me get a stipple brush. I'm just going to use that to get into all those little details with the paint. Just using an imperfect brush to stipple in these details. I'm going to get my edges. Better turn on my glue gun so we can attach it. Try not to make a big mess over here. Here we go. I'm going to do half of him at a time so that I can hold it. Okay. Let me just dry this real quick. So again, this product is called Molded Wood. And Katie is experiencing quite the success with this product. So I will try to go back in and add a link in the description so that you can check it out. Getting my edges. And I just thought of something else I'd like to do, I think. Y'all, sometimes you got to get into the project and it's just got to kind of evolve. Kind of comes to you. Something I want to do that I've done before, and I love doing this, and I just didn't think about it at the moment. I'm going to let this rest of this little butterfly air dry. And let's just get a fresh piece of paper towel. We're going to add a little stencil work also around the edges of this, just to kind of help dress up the outer area of this. And what I'm going to use, this is a stencil, and it's got roses in it. I don't know if you can tell. Let me do this, and maybe you can tell a little bit better. There's a rose pattern in there, but what I'm really going to go for are these patterns that are in between. And I like to use Distressed Oxide. These right here, and we're going to use, let's see, I may use this brown. I've got several colors. Let me just see. I love tone on tone effects. I don't know. I do kind of have, this might be a really good color. The Antique Linen. Let's see what else we have. Vintage Photo, which is the same as that. Some of these will be too much of a contrast. I'm really feeling either the Vintage Photo or that Antique Linen. Mahogany. Walnut Stain might be a good choice. It may be a little dark. And then black. Not feeling those. So let's do this. Let's see how that works. And we can always change it up if we don't feel like it's doing what we want. So I'm going to use one of these little soft brushes. Get these out of the way. I don't want it to be prominent, but to really just kind of leave a little design. Let me set this out of the way. Okay. I'm just going to put this right over here. And I'm going to be very selective this. It's just going to add a little bit of impression. Hopefully this will work. So this is going to be more of a mixed media piece than a full-on piece of art, which I think mixed media is fun. I'm trying to be a little easy on where I place my brush. Never used any of these. What, the stencils or the distressed oxide? I love these small versions because they're, I mean, I don't use them enough to merit having very many of the large. Let's see what kind of pattern we're getting, because we're getting to a point where we're going to have to move it anyway. Let's see how this looks. Look! That gives it a very nice effect. I didn't want it to be super heavy. I wanted it to be more of a tone-on-tone effect. Let's come over. I'm going to get a section that has a little more of the pattern. Isn't that pretty? Either one? Oh man, these are pretty fun. So it just adds a little something. Let's just kind of come. I'm looking at where my pattern is sitting in comparison to my paint that I've already done. I'm going to come right through here and kind of focus on this area. And we'll just do part of the design right there as it moves in toward that bud. Look at that. Isn't that nice? I don't know if y'all can see very well. Hopefully the lighting and everything is really good. Let me bring this lighting down a little bit, even if it's in front of my face, so that y'all can kind of see. Here's a good section. Let's just kind of come through here. And I don't worry so much about how perfect it is, you know? It's almost like the perfection is in the imperfection. Oh, there was my little dog. Goodness. Had a little cough. Have you ever thought about that before? How sometimes perfection is in the imperfection? Okay, let me come over here. Let's lift and see where we are. I think that looks really good. It's picking up some of the green paint. Let's see if I can get that off. The green paint from my leaves over here. Get a little bit of water and I bet we can get it off. may have to just touch up with some more yellow paint right there. Let me just kind of clean that section. Get a little bit of Murphy's Little Soap here. And that'll get it right off. That stuff is amazing. Okay. Let me just get this nice and dry so that doesn't become another issue. Right. Kind of feeling this little, let's see, let's do this little grouping through here. Kind of like that. Let's pull it up a little. Here we go. We're kind of just creating a border around our music. I really want to apply a little more pressure on this brush. Okay, let's see where we are. That looks pretty good. Now we're going to do this other side. And then we'll have a sweet little border around our hem. Let's see, I'm just looking at the patterns through here. And I believe I got these small distressed pads, distressed oxide pads or ink pads at Hobby Lobby. Okay. I'm kind of come through here. I think it helps to kind of turn things around and get different positions because I'm not looking for necessarily uniform, just design. And I'm just kind of looking through here to see what I want to do. I'm just pouncing it in. And there we go. That's really about all I want. Just a little bit of design. Okay, let me clean this little brush real quick. And I do use Murphy's oil soap in a little jar just to clean up my little brush. It just breaks up those pigments really well. Super easy. See how clean? Just wipe it off on a paper towel, let it dry, and it's good to go another day. Okay, so that color again is Antique Linen and the Distress Ink by Tim Holtz. Okay, so let's check out our little butterfly, see how it's drying. Probably very well. So we just need to add some detail. So I'm going to get my little detail brush and we're just going to touch in some white into some of these designs. Just kind of working it in. Now I know that butterflies, each side of their butterfly are, you know, their wings, their mirror images. I'm not going to be that good at this, making them exact, so I'm asking you to give me a little grace. Just a little grace. But we're just looking to add some contrast and enhance some of the detail in the mold. So I'm hoping to inspire you to kind of think outside the box on your projects. Okay, I'm going to use some black. Let's grab that. And I am going to use my Master's Touch black to kind of enhance the body and the antennas, and maybe a little bit on the wings. And I think I'm going to use a very, very fine brush to really get into the details of it all. I'm going to add a little water just from my brush, just to kind of thin this down a little. And we're just going to easily put in the body. Kind of enhance the antennas. Okay, let's kind of add a little black in between some of these designs, almost like veining the wings. Kind of giving that division. But I don't want to lose all my blues, so I'm not getting too crazy with it. Can you kind of see? It's kind of small, so let me hold this up a little bit just so you can kind of see a little better of what we've got going on here. It's nothing super fancy, but it's just a little embellishment. We may come back in here with some more of the blue and just kind of round out a little bit of this white. Just shape it. Sometimes you've just got to get the color down and go back and just kind of shape it up. I might even take some of this lighter blue that we've been using and shape up. That might be a very nice touch. Okay, let me clean that brush. So let's do that. Let's pull in some of this lighter blue. Just kind of reactivating what I had on my plate. And so I'm going to come in here and kind of shape up and round out some of these white designs. Hopefully, we'll see how it does, right? You never know till you try. I mean, you just got to try sometimes. If it doesn't work like you thought, then you just go to plan B. Get some of the darker. And I think too, sometimes the details of the mold, and then when you bring in a brush, it kind of, because these are very fine details, I probably should have used a very fine brush to begin with. It's all good though. Hey Jenny, how are you, sweet friend? Using a little bit of Arcadie's molded wood to embellish my painting. I hope it turns out okay. It's kind of a last minute decision. Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's not, but I think it's going to be okay. And I'm just kind of adding in some detail to our butterfly that is a molded wood. It's probably about as good as I can get it. Now let's do, hang on y'all. There it is. Hang on. I did finish the tractor painting. It's not in here. I think I've got it right outside the door. I can go grab it. I'm going to add a little bit of metallic silver to our butterfly. Just add a little something something to him. Okay. So here's our piece, and I'm just thinking something very, very soft, very small, but to add a little bit of balance to this, to the flower. So that just gives it a little something extra. I do want to come back in here to my leaves. I'm going to wait and attach the butterfly at the end. I'm going to add a little bit of highlighting and veining to our leaves just to kind of give them some extra something here. So to do that, I'm going to do a couple of things. First, I'm going to pull some white over here and mix in just a touch of green. Green is a much darker color, so we're just adding in a little bit of green to give us a nice highlight shade. Let me get a flat brush and get this off and onto the palette. There we go. I need a little bit of water. You love Amazing Grace? I do too, girl. Let me offload a lot of this excess, and we'll use that. I just don't need it all on my brush all at the same time. So I'm just going to add highlights to where I believe light would strike our leaves. And then come in and grab a little tiny bit of our original green just to blend. Probably need to get a different brush. Let me just use this one. We're just blending in tiny touches of our original green so we can kind of eliminate some of the lines created by laying down that highlight color. When we pull in some shadow color, this will really pop. There we go. Pick up some of our original green. Just blending. Look at how that kind of gives it a little enhancement. I feel like y'all may not be able to see all that well. Let's see if I can pull y'all down a little closer, so you can maybe see what I'm doing a little bit better with these details. So I'm just trying to think about where light is going to strike the leaves. And then I'm bringing in my original green and just blending right into it. Makes a big difference. Let's get our original green and just blend. Grab again our original green and blend right into it, kind of starting in the middle and working out toward it. Oh, what's that white? Just a crumb of dried paint, I think. Okay, and let's put some highlight over here on these little buds. And now I'm even going to come down along that stem a little bit. Let's see, I want to add a little bit more highlight right in through here. Okay. Just kind of looking at what I've got here. And then we can... Thank you, Vicki. I'm glad you love it. We're going to pull in some black to our green and get a nice shadow color. So I'm going to just separate a little green right here. And I'm going to get just a touch. I mean, it doesn't take much to darken that up. And get a nice gray color. Need a little water. See how much I've got. Looking for a particular tone. We're about to get there. Okay. Just going to offload this brush and clean it. We're going to get a detail brush, a very fine brush. I think this next step is what really begins to make it pop, is when you start adding in the shadows. And so where anything that crosses, we're going to add that shadow. And just kind of pull that paint, like we're going to put in our line and then just pull that paint forward. And so I'm going to go ahead and add a little more of this green just to round out and line out that top leaf, kind of shaping it. Okay. Where it's kind of peeking in behind that petal, we're going to have shadow. And then we're just going to pull that pigment out, up and out toward the center. Let's grab a little of our original green and just blend, rounding it. And then we're going to kind of do the same with this underneath leaf. Let me turn this just a little bit so I can get to it a little better to do the strokes that I want to do with this. Always bringing in our original color to kind of blend into the highlight or the shadow. Where do I get my inspiration? I can't explain it. This flower, I just happened across it when I was doing something, Google, I don't even remember now. And I printed it out. It's been a while back now. And thinking, that is really pretty. I think I would like to paint that sometime. And I've just kind of been waiting for that right opportunity. And it just kind of happened with this hem. I love painting hems. I do. Because it reminds me so much of my childhood, growing up in the church. And y'all, one of my fondest memories is listening to my grandmother sing alto right there beside me in the pew. I was little. And I'll never forget her alto voice singing that harmony. And it's just one of those memories that, it's precious. You know, I loved my grandmother. She was the one that quilted, and I have a picture of when she was very elderly, and she was, and she hand did her stuff. And she was in the chair, hand quilting, hand embroidering some of the blocks. And I'm just sitting right beside her, just observing her handiwork. And somebody snapped a picture. And I treasure that. I'll have to post it here for y'all sometime. Just putting in that contrast. Look how that kind of gives those leaves some depth. I think about my family. My family in my growing up years are a lot of my inspiration for things. My mother was a seamstress. She made a lot of our clothes when I was growing up. She was a stay-at-home mom, and she just did a lot of, to save money, sewed a lot of our clothes, even our blue jeans when we were little. There came a time where that wasn't cool enough for us, You know how that is with kids. But I look back on that now and I think, oh, wow, what a gift that I took for granted. And she sews very little now, but she taught me so much. She was an amazing mother. Look at that, how that's coming to life with all the shadow. It's beginning to pop, isn't it? I'm gonna come down here to these bottom leaves. To me, this is the most fun part of painting, is adding these details that just make all the difference. And you guys, it takes patience. It just takes patience and layering, thinking about where the light and the shadows sit. I love when y'all ask questions. Makes such a huge difference. Look at that. Let me raise this up a little bit. I'm actually wanting to make sure I'm in the camera here for y'all. Thinking about this and its position on the surface. A lot of the underneath part is going to be this shadow color. And as it sneaks in behind this petal, now my little dog is snoring over here. He's so funny. He's my little boy. I think I want to add a little more highlight. Right through there. Can y'all hear him? He is a little loud, I think. Okay, we're going to let that kind of rest. Let's work on some details of our flower now and really make it begin to pop. So I'm going to pull a little of this black over close to our blue. I may have to get some more blue because it's kind of been drying out on me here. See if we've got enough here to be. I need to add a little water. Oh yeah, we got this. Just wanted to gray that up. See how that makes a difference. That's what we're going to use for our shadow work within this flower. Okay, I'm kind of surveying my petals here. So I'm just kind of pulling that dark, laying it in there and just kind of pulling it out. Using a very fine brush. And grab a little bit of light blue even. We still are going to add a little more highlight. And one of the things I'm battling is this hem sheet that is underneath this paint because it's uneven. He's cracking me up over here. Sawing logs. See how that kind of tucks that petal in behind? Just blending. Let's get some of that original blue. I need to get a little more. I just don't have enough. Hang on, everyone. I need to get some more. And this particular blue is a paint Pixie color, a paint Pixie paint. It's a chalk paint, but it's gorgeous. And it's one that I don't think I can mix, and that's why I've used it. This is it in the Bon Beanie Cocktail. So we need just a little. These are some of the details that I can just get lost in. We're going to add some pure white in here too in a little bit. But we got to get the details of these petals kind of nailed down. But Let's come in with some white and kind of do some highlighting. I feel like I need to kind of shape this up a little bit. I've got a lot of water on my brush. It's creating a problem. Let's just soak up some of that water. Okay. I feel like we need to bring this depth on in here a little bit as we move toward the center of the flower. I'm just going to kind of streak in that shadow color as we're toward the center of this flower, and that will actually make these pinks pop a little bit as we add that depth in. Look at how that contrasts. A little bit, just tap in some depth right below the stamen. There we go. All right, let's pull in some white. I'm going to thin down my white a little bit. I think it tends to dry out under these lights too. Let me try using my flat brush. Sometimes I have to use more than one size brush to try to get the effect I'm looking for. We're just kind of working in some highlight along the outside areas of these petals. So I'm just kind of laying in the color, and then I'm just kind of blending it out. Excuse me, let me just grab a quick drink. And get just a tad of this light blue. And I have to kind of think about where I believe light strikes. We're just kind of fuzzing out and blending. Being a little aggressive with it, just trying to get a nice blend. Is it, Sherry? I was afraid I was boring everyone to death. I really appreciate you saying that, because I'm sitting here thinking, I bet I put somebody to sleep right now. But y'all get in my zone. And I so appreciate y'all being here. It's so much more fun to paint when you've got people to visit with. A little more depth to this one up here so it's not so white. Look how that flower's just really evolved, and what a difference the depth makes. Just really layering those colors. Let's grab some white. Actually, let me get this color off. Now let's blend. Not at all. Aw, thank you, Sherry. Thank you so much. I just really, really treasure y'all being here. And those of you that catch the replay of this, I can't thank you for enough for stopping by and watching and just hopefully enjoying this. Feel free to comment here. I try to keep an eye on the comments, and I've had people comment, and I try to get back to them and reply. And just a little more depth right through here. I really want to add some more of this vermilion. This nice, pretty, shiny color. Get the skin off where it's kind of dried. Get it reactivated. Hang on, y'all. Have this going here in half a second. Let's add some more of this brightness. Using this really fine paintbrush. What do y'all think? I need to go back to my leaves now. We're going to add just some little faint veining to our leaves. I'm going to use this very fine brush. I'll send down my paint just a little more, just so we get a nice flow. Get some of this excess water off. Y'all, I'm starting to have a little second thoughts about my butterfly. What do y'all think? This may be all it needs, to be honest. Thank you, Vicki. Thank you, Sherry. Do y'all think we need the butterfly or no? I'm beginning to really have second thoughts that maybe we're okay. Can y'all see the veining in this? Really helps to thin that paint down quite a bit and just let it kind of flow. You love the butterfly? Okay. Just looking through here, there's something I'm missing and I don't know exactly what it is. I know what it is. I just thought of it. We need to add a little shadow work, and I think I'm going to use my metallic silver. See how it looks instead of so much gray. And this is just going to help this pop off the surface. And I'm still using my very fine detail paintbrush. I've got an edge right here that's creating a little problem. Just giving this a little lift off the surface. Kind of shaping it. if you can see the effect this has. Hold on, friend. Somebody's at my door. Hold on. I'm going to have to go, y'all. I'm so sorry.